these heroes fail for once, Bowie. But let's get into it. See if KBUUS can make that happen. And if they cannot, then we can talk about how they're going to make it come back in game number 2. So let us go. Let's rock and see what we've got on our hands. Early smoke from them on the Radiant side. I think this is probably just a ward mission, right? I doubt they want to fight with their heroes right now.
Should run.
Yeah, I agree with you that maybe TSM has more meta heroes in a sense, but I do feel like the draft overall for KBU, oh my lord, that's a ravage. It's easier to execute, but Miminder might be that anyways. They have that poison attack that oh no,
Fairy
nice
Fire,
slow.
baby. He's fine. Slow with the plasma field. The Fairy Fire comes out, and after that ravage with the impale, he's fine. He's okay.
Well, I mean, that does mean that the lane is going to be a little bit easier for Viper, because now you don't have static link level 1, and it's going to be a plasma field, so probably a lot of harass and kind of an easier lane for MMR tourists, but overall, pretty good that TSM doesn't feed that first blood. And in terms of wards here, 2 cliff wards coming from TSM. You rarely see 2 wards like that, so kind of disregarding the mid lane vision a little bit, just trying to get vision for these rotations. I guess the Mars and Dawnbreaker actually rotate pretty well, so you do want to get vision around that mid lane.
Yeah. It's kind of scary whenever you see these Marcies coming in. That's the one thing that you get out of this hero, even though she can be somewhat subpar in her utility as a support. Her ability to just show up very early on, even before the 6-minute power rune, and just create havoc in this mid lane. Very, very strong. So makes sense that they want to have some kind of beat on those movements on the side of TSM. But this also shows that they have confidence in Brow. They're like, bro, you've got this matchup. You don't need vision to deal with I Annihilate. You'll be okay, bro. You're cool.
I mean, it's melee versus melee, so vision is not that important, but it does mean that they really want to make sure that he doesn't get ganked or his blink dagger timing gets hurt, because yeah, I'm not entirely sure. From my experience casting South America, I do feel like 4 Tiny is way more popular than mid Tiny. So I don't know how the win rate for mid Tiny is going, but I do feel like a lot of the high win rate we're seeing comes from actual support. But core Tiny still pretty decent, even despite all the nerfs.
It's actually funny that you bring up South America, because that's the region I think that has really, this season especially, solidified how to play Tiny. They were the ones on Thunder Awakened with Dark Mago to bring out this mid Tiny at first, when everybody else was just playing it like safe lane still. Then everyone was like, oh wow, it's way stronger mid. And then when everyone else started playing it mid, they're like, oh no, well, actually nope, 4 Tiny is where it's at, y'all. Give up on this mid shenanigans. And then you're like, oh, this is actually even stronger. I'm fully on board with support Tiny. But if Brawl gets an early enough Blink Dagger, this game can really start going out of control for him. And we have the situation where between Nyx, Nature's Prophet, there's just a lot that can happen on the map. Nobody feels safe if you start losing out on these lanes. Even if you have the sustain, these heroes can come out of absolutely nowhere and murder you all across the map.
There's one, it's Thompson, right? So he's not playing in a pro team and he plays mostly pubs, but he's actually playing this very interesting style of Tiny where he doesn't buy Blink first. He actually gets Echo into Blink. I did not see anyone playing that way in a professional game yet, but will be fun if Brian decides to do that. Oh, there you go.
Saberlight getting a kill, getting himself killed in the top lane by MMR Tourist. Between the Warden and this Viper, they get the Selly Hammer forward. They dive onto him with the Nature's Prophet. It's still early days, so Dubu does not have access to the Shallow Grave, cannot protect the safe lane NP. That's pretty good. As a Viper, you always want to be in a position where you're dominating your lane from the very beginning. And you know for a fact you're never going to outfarm a Nature's Prophet, so killing him is the only option for winning out this matchup.
Yeah, I do like that they lane the Dazzle and the NP together as talked about. They actually even swap the lanes and they get a kill there. Nicely done. Dubu now actually doesn't have Shallow Grave, but Warden, I guess, was out of mana. Didn't commit.
That was a bit aggressive from MMR Tourist. He stuck around very aggressively and very far forward after the kill, and he didn't have much regen on himself. I guess he wasn't expecting them to immediately run at him with the respawn on Nature's Prophet, but does find himself getting punished. Has boots now though, so if he's just more careful and aware of where Dubu is positioned, he should be fine. But they might want to go back onto Saberlight immediately now that they have more mana. The poison attacks are coming in. Warden prepared to tank the tower hits here. We will see another Toxin dropping, but there's no vision. The Sprout covering him, and now Warden is the one that's in danger. He's getting chased away. He almost loses his life, but he ends up barely surviving thanks to the Fairy Fire. At the same time though, we end up losing this Razor down in the bottom lane. KBUUS taking out both of the lane partners. Razor and the Nyx Assassin end up dying here in the side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the draft. At the end of the day, the lanes on TSM, especially the side lanes, aren't really that strong. I guess this Dazzle NP is like decently strong, but the Nyx plus Razor, especially when the Razor is the off lane, it's kind of weird. They do have kind of an advantage right now because of the creep equilibrium, but when KBUS fixes the equilibrium here, there's really nothing that you can do. Like, Razor benefits from having that chase potential, which he does have right now, but usually he shouldn't. So maybe some problems here. The small camp is blocked by TSM and it was not unblocked. So kind of a mistake there from KBU. Oh, they find a Luna.
A lot of damage coming in, and there's going to be the drain as well. Nice dispose from the Marcy. All right. Getting the suplex back, making sure that there is no further damage. We are starting to get to that point though with this Razor. Like, it's very awkward the first 4 or 5 levels, but from that point onwards, it starts to become a lot easier. And they're trying to press the advantage before that level is reached as they aggress onto Tomato. Will pop the magic wand here, getting back towards the tower. Moon Meander has already thrown out the Impale, done what he could. And just going to heal up on this Razor. I mean, it's necessary for them to do this now, right? Before they get to a point where Razor really is a threat in this lane. They're doing everything in their power to prevent Tomato from getting off to a roaring start. And it's actually kind of interesting, right? They're playing off-lane Razor, but it's the safe lane player doing it this game.
Yeah. They do find Saberlight there, but they actually lose the Viper first, so definitely a little bit better for TSM. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think they really squeezed the best they could out of the lanes from TSM, because I was kind of doubtful of the there. Oh, very close from Marcy.
Fine.
Does live. Now the question for me becomes, what can Moon Meander do until he gets his 6? Because that is one problem with those heroes that really need level 6 before they get online. Oh my god. They're really playing a fire bottom here. They can definitely dive them once the link is back up.
Realm is the one that I'm very scared about. There's level 2 Plasma Field. If Tomato had a little bit more HP, I think he might have decided to dive that tower, but just we'll make a safer play. Realm will get salved up. Everything's gonna just reset a little bit. I love these very close matchups where not that many kills, but everybody's spending every piece of aggression on one another. Speaking of aggression, top lane, we might be having some here as the Warden is in an interesting place with the Selly Hammer. Will find himself having to TP home, but will end up dying instead. Saberlight right-clicks him into Oblivion. Free gold for the Nature's Prophet. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that lane is like deceptively strong. He even actually has the 3 points in Nature's Call, so the Shadow Wave hurts a lot. And there's a Blightstone on this Dazzle. Mid as well, they find Annihilate. Oh, nice juke.
Nice to simulate juke there from Annihilate. Gets up onto the high ground. Can Brawl interrupt the TP? He cannot. No angle for him, and he didn't have
so
enough mana.
Close, actually.
Yeah,
he was like 2 mana away. That was so close.
Well, they do get the kill bottom though onto this Razor. They've actually managed to take him over completely. That's the second death for this Razor. And he is still being kept at level 4 right now. Level 5 on this Luna. They might be able to kill Moon Meander too. But he's cool, he's fine. Nope, never mind. My bad, Moon Meander. I'm sorry, dog, for the Caster's Curse. That one's on me. Annihilate will maybe want to come in now. First, it's going to be Dubu throwing in some damage to get the kill onto this Marcy. It's going to be Tomato showing up. I thought that they might want to make a rotation with this Void Spirit. Now that he does have himself level 6, maybe they get the counter. But they didn't have enough mana on Realm, I guess, to get off more Lucent Beam. So safe play is fine. Just going to be able to trade 1-for-1.
I think one aspect of the KBU safe lane we didn't talk about is the synergy of the Luna with the Marcy. Like, usually when you think of position 5 Marcy using Unleash, it feels very underwhelming, right? But there's going to be extra 35 damage for Marcy. Well, unless there's a 4-man rotation here, which Realm actually reading pretty well. Can they get him?
They are going to be able to get him and kill him anyway. This is actually so sad. Not only did he read this well by trying to retreat right now, they actually scanned them perfectly. Like, when they smoked up, I was following their move, and they got scanned right over here. And they were trying to get back, but I don't think Luna wanted to TP out of that situation and ends up getting punished for it pretty damn hard. They will also be able to get in the tier 1 tower potentially, because they still have these, as you mentioned, high level treants sieging this tower. Marcy is here, but of all of her talents, pushing the wave is not something that she's very good at.
Yeah, that is one aspect of their draft that I was not a big fan of, because like they went for this Void Spirit, so even though like that's a 5-man rotation to the bottom lane, usually some drafts could actually export that bottom. They do get, yeah, there's no way this Mercy lives. Usually you would be able to like punish with the tower, but look at this. The Viper was hitting the entire time, but he's just he really hits like a wet noodle.
Yep.
And it feels like TSM can go for these very aggressive, greedy rotations, and there's really no pressure being applied anywhere else.
I mean, you mentioned it yourself, right? Of the fact that you wanted to see Death Prophet emerging at the end of the draft because Realm is the only real source of any building hit. And he's not necessarily easily capable of doing it at the stage of the game. Requires a lot of resources for them to make any of these bigger moves on the map. And there will be a pause now. KBUS have several heroes in the top lane. Some of them have ported in, so I think they don't have an option but to play super aggressively into this tier 1 tower. Will we see TSM try to defend this though? Because they don't have that many heroes that far away. So it could be worthwhile maybe trying to take a quick fight here. What do you think?
I would... Usually, if you're this ahead, you do want to defend the top tier 1 tower. What you don't want to do is actually TP heroes there and lose a fight. That's pretty bad. But if you're certain that you're strong enough, you get a lot of value out of that, because you know, this Luna wants to accelerate, wants more map for herself, and denying that is good. I do think TSM is in a position where they could do that, but instead, there's actually going to be a brawl mid.
Yep.
Some TPs.
Luna's here as well. They're going to go on to Brawl. He's the first one to open up. Nice avalanche to throw back these two heroes. They'll go to the Iron Island, who gets tossed up into the air. Moon Meander creating more space with the Impale as well. But they still really want Brawl. They're going to chase him to the ends of the earth. But on the high ground, he gets shallow graved and turns around with a 3-hero avalanche. 2 of them die almost immediately. The rest of them now on the retreat. MMR Torres wants to at least get Tomato on the way out. And Moon Meander finding 2 heroes with his own Impale as well. Dubu gets a double kill off the Shadow Wave burst. And 4 heroes end up dying. They really came so close to killing the Tiny, and they're not done to make that 5, Bowie. Moon Meander chases this Luna into the triangle, and they might even steal her farm as well. Oh my goodness, it seems so good. Brawl seems so tasty, but at the end of the day, it turned out to be a big trap as TSM spring it and win this team fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that's so unfortunate. There was no ward from TSM. He actually planted a ward just now, and he got level 6 out of that fight. So really unfortunate. A little bit greedy from KBU, if we gotta be honest, but maybe they can punish this, because this Meteor Tower falling is already such a huge hit for KBU. They're losing in all fronts right now.
Might be able to at least get some reprisal kills here. They're going on to Moon Meander, but he gets graved up as well. Annihilate needs some help with the Solar Guardian, which will be provided by his Dawnbreaker. But Brawl throwing in damage with the huge hits off that tree. And now suddenly MMR Torres finding himself in an awkward position. He'll end up dying to Tomato and the damage from Brawl's Avalanche. They get the toss forward with Tomato. Eye of the Storm is going to be going off, dealing damage to all of these heroes. They managed to bring down 3. Annihilate, one of the last remaining members. He has an Astral Step just in time. Will allow him to get back into the base. But they just lost 5 heroes in this area, and they've now lost another 3. 8 heroes lost in less than 2 minutes, and they're going to steal the massive stack in this triangle. Things have gone from bad to very worse here for KBU US.
I feel like I'm watching a kid have his lollipop stolen, and then they're also just like pushing the kid into the ground. Like, that's so... That's so hard to watch, because I think this is a prime example of like a team not really having good lanes, but by sheer map movement outplay, they totally took this game out of KBU's hands, because the lanes were looking pretty good. You know, this Void Spirit was having like a decent time. The Viper got a couple of kills. The Luna was doing well. They also killed Tomato twice. But with that one smoke gank into that fight middle, they totally took this game. And a little bit comes from the draft, right? I feel like they didn't pressure lanes as well as they could, but it's really their draft being kind of a problem in that regard.
Oh, Moon Meander Springs a trap middle. They get the jump onto Annihilate, and they follow this up with the Avalanche toss. Saberlight comes in to reveal an Orchid as well, and they will be able to find a kill onto this Void Spirit. They might be able to get Saberlight though. Nope, Dubu says, hello, I've got this wonderful ability called Shallow Grave. I'll create the space, and now Avalanche with the Impale, the chain disable onto the two supports. They end up dying. MMR Tourist throws in the ultimate just to try and bring down Braille. Braille's TP out will be interrupted by the Luna's Lucent Beam. However, will bring down the Viper with him on the way out. And yes, it might be the fact that they end this huge killing spree. They might have gotten a mega kill streak back off of him. But it still costs 4 heroes. 4, Bowie, 4, just for the Tiny.
That is a lot of heroes. And also, the Tiny did go for that build we were talking about. That's pretty cool.
I saw this from, I think this guy, Dark Margo, did this the other day as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And some Chinese players, not all of them, but I've seen this like once or twice from the Chinese mids. I think Somnus did this as well, where he went for the Echo Saber. But I thought it was just, you know, a Somnus special. He's just like, I'm gonna farm, boys. Go fight yourself.
I mean, maybe it is a Chinese thing. Like the first player I actually saw doing this was Thompson kind of like 3-4 weeks ago. But regardless, it is a pretty fun way. And it feels like he's actually getting so much impact regardless of not having Blink. So that's pretty cool.
Just feels so easy for them to make moves on the map. They're gonna try and make a move onto him, but we've seen this story before. They're all set up with this Avalanche. Be careful, boys. There's the 2-hero Impale. This is gonna be followed up by a massive Shadow Wave onto Annihilate. Warden's gonna end up dying. Raul's not even using the Avalanche. He's just styling on them right now. As the 3-hero gang squad turns into a 3-hero buffet, and TSM are here to eat, and they devour KBUS once again.
You know, this Orchid build is not something very favorable on Nature's Prophets these days, but when you're kind of owning a game, it feels so strong because there's really not going to be any outplay. There's not going to be an early BKB timing, no dispel items. So overall, love the rotation there. Make sure that not only they save the Tiny, but they kill Annihilate. Very nicely done. And
Saberlight
not
is
gonna
actually
get
so good at Dota. He's so good at Dota. Being able to get back. Now they're gonna actually just quickly turn. Wrath of Nature has been thrown out. Look how much damage is coming in. Marcy's gonna end up being the beneficiary, or the recipient rather, of all that hurt. And I think MMR Tourist is gonna die definitely as well. Yeah, there's no way he survives this. 100% dead. And this was the gank that was supposed to come onto the Nature's Prophet. They're the ones coming bottom. And while we'll pause, actually, speaking of the NP, the build that he's gone for with this Orchid, we've been seeing a lot of like Maelstroms on the hero, sometimes first item Witchblade, but I don't think I've ever seen them go Orchid straight into the Ags. Even if it is Orchid first, usually you'll stop over for like BKB, even a shard instead afterwards. What do you make of this build that he's going for right now with the massive magic damage?
They have a lot of, I mean, not a lot. They had 3 heroes that are very mobile, so the root is just very strong this game, and it's a global root. So I think it's probably that. It means that the Void Spirit, the Dawnbreaker, and the Marcy will have a pretty hard time just... I mean, they're already having a pretty hard time, but it's going to be even harder for them to maneuver these fights. And as you predicted, and I mean, gonna be honest, it was not that hard to predict, they kill the Viper, and our Realm is just dead.
Well, there used to be a Luna there.
Yeah.
You know what kind of sucks about Luna, and one of the reasons I really hate this hero? I really don't like the fact that this is a hero that is uber squishy, right? Up until some arbitrary point in the game where you've got like 3-4 items. But the ultimate of this hero, before you get Ags, requires you to put your body on the line all the time. So just, you need to have so many things around him to protect the Luna, prevent her from just getting bursted immediately after she pops the Eclipse. I feel like she just needs a little bit of a rework. There's a couple of these like safe lane heroes. Luna, Lifestealer in some way as well. Even Juggernaut, actually, I could see a slight rework happening with, especially their ultimates. Don't feel as strong as they used to in some prior iterations of the game.
I mean, I personally don't think it's a problem that an ultimate doesn't feel impactful, because like if you look at Terrorblade, right, and a lot of people would even say that Metamorphosis is their ult in a way, and there was definitely a time where Sunder felt so broken. I'm kind of happy that it doesn't feel as broken as it was, but I do agree that Luna, like when you're playing from behind, it just feels awful. But that's also true for a lot of carries. It's just it doesn't have, you know, illusions or any way to safely farm waves, which means you have to expose yourself not only to ult but also to farm. And Moon Meander, beautiful Ravage there.
What a player, man. What a player. Gets the Ravage. I love the patience from him because he sees the path that they're weaving, because he could have gone for Iron Annihilate by himself, but he waits until he's going to guarantee the 2-hero Impale. They follow that up with the immediate silence. You kill Tiny bottom, but who cares? Look where the Tiny dies. They're not going to be able to get anything off the back of this. They're already pushing out the top wave to get closer to the tier 1 tower, and them getting this tier 1 top will also get them slightly closer to this Roshan as well, which they can claim at some point. The whole map right now just feels in favor of TSM. All right, Bowie, earn your keep here, fam. Gotta do the hard work. How do they come back into this one as KBUS? What kind of moves do you want to see them make on the map right now?
All right, so if 2 heroes from KBU rage quit and you sell their items, and you somehow get level 15 on this Luna, so you have 4 points of Lucent Beam, level 2 Eclipse, there might be a way for you to get eggs on the Luna, and you solo kill maybe the Dazzle plus a hero. That could be a start. And then the heroes come back. They're not gonna have any gold, but with the kills, this Luna is gonna have more confidence, and you try to win that way.
All right, KBU, you all need to get on those hacking scripts, but more importantly, you need to get Realm the hell out of here because he's just getting ganked on right now. Luna is dead.
Oh, no.
Eclipse getting tagged up by all of these treants. Well, you don't even have a BKB just yet. 18 minutes into the game almost, but there's no space on the map for this Luna to farm. She dies yet again, her 4th time in this game. Even Moonbiander stays alive. He can't bring him down because Dubu is on point with the Shallow Grave. I didn't know this ability was auto cast, but Dubu making me think otherwise. Brown now diving forward, finds MMR tourist behind the tier 2 tower. A Saberlight also trying to force the fight further. As they jump into this Dawnbreaker, they should be able to bring her down. The Warden was sprouted up, silenced up, right click down. It's 18 minutes in. It's 30-11, 14,000 in favor of the side of TSM. I don't know about you, Bowie, but this is times like this where I wish that Dota had a referee because somebody needs to throw in the towel in favor of KBUS.
That's true. But because we're still here, I want to point out something. If you look on the Radiant Triangle, there's a ward that I really like from TSM. If you actually check the center that they have there, you can see that the range doesn't really connect to that ward. And you still get a very valuable vision. The way they killed that Luna was with that vision, but wait a minute, because top, they're gonna see more kills. More kids having their lollipops stolen.
Maybe it's actually for the best, Bowie, that we just talk about wards and we don't watch the slaughter, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely not PG-13 because it is looking kind of rough. But there's going to be a BKB on this Luna. Once you disassemble the Dragonlance, there will be a BKB in 200 gold, pretty much. That's something to look up to.
It's a lot of gold still, though. Look where they're playing right now on the side of TSM. All the usual areas that Luna would go to pick up that network to finish this BKB, she can't access. The triangle is completely controlled by TSM. Her jungle, she knows for a fact it's not safe. All you have to do is wait for some of these waves to come in, but you don't feel entirely comfortable doing this and nothing else. But there's the gold. BKB isn't coming. They can disassemble this, but top lane, MMR Taurus, whew, very lucky TP out because Moonmander knew exactly where he was at. But can't catch up in time. But there it is, the item you mentioned, the one ticket back into this. It's BKB and it's also Eclipse coming back off cooldown. If there's anything that resembles a go moment for KBU, it would be now. But who's even the target? Who do you try and go on? How do you engage this fight even?
You have to kill the Dazzle. He's being so impactful. And that is one of the reasons I was not a big fan of the Void Spirit, because he's a hero that has a silence once you get eggs. And you are obviously the underdog in this match, playing as if you're gonna reach a state where you actually have eggs in this Void Spirit. And I think that was a mistake. You know, this Dazzle felt so impactful because they have no way of actually interrupting Grave from being cast. Even when it was only level 1, like he actually got a lot of Graves off. Dugo played really well. Viper gets he gets destroyed, but BKB on Realm.
Well, that's the first BKB charge. Unfortunately, that feels like there's a lot of first BKB charges on Luna these days. You pop BKB, run in, you pop Eclipse, and you're like, well, that's underwhelming. Then you just CP home, feeling really bad about yourself.
Wait,
difficult game for Realm.
Sold a Band of Valve skin on this Luna. Where? What?
Yeah, where did it go? Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Did he do it to buy? It doesn't make any sense.
No, he had both. He definitely had both. I saw him have 2 of them.
Yeah, I wonder if he sold it to buy a TP. Maybe like he finished the BKB, had no go for the TP. He sold it to get that TP we saw him use. Maybe that was it.
I hope not. That would feel very, very awkward for him. Another thing, actually, we were talking about like the reach onto this Dazzle and how Void Spirit needs to get the Ags before you get to the point where you're effective against them. It gets even worse because Dubu's had a decent enough game. As you see Moon Meander get picked off here. He's had a decent enough game that this Aghanim shot, wait, actually, it might not just be a pick-off. Saberlight is in for revenge. Comes in, silences up, I Annihilate. Look how much damage he's taking from this Wrath of Nature. This Aghanim Scepter with the root. You don't need the level 20 talent when you've got the Ags. They've gotten the kill onto I Annihilate. MMR Tourist also getting very low on the HP. Will be chased down by Tomato. As the Nature's Prophet did end up leaving the fight before Ralph could come in for revenge, but Brawl is here. There's no BKB on the Luna. They know she used it in the previous fight, and now Brawl will get an ultra kill off the back of this, and they call it. The referee is finally woken up. He calls the TKO. KBUUS throw in the towel. Demolition in game number 1 here in the NA qualifiers. TSM looking on fire. Game 1, not even close.
Yeah. Honestly, the lanes were really good, and